Good evening. Iran is definitely winning the war, you guys. We don't have any more leaders, no more ships, no more airplanes, no more missile launchers, and no more weapons. But other than that, everything honky dory here in Iran. Totally winning. Nobody panicking or anything like that, okay, buddy?
You know you're truly lost when you do things like the Germans did in World War II, where they recruit children. Like the Iranians lowered the age for having militants be 12 years old. So they're recruiting children to fight in their war. You know you're lost when that happens. I mean, day after day, their missile attacks are going down and they're losing. It's just a matter of time, but this is beyond sad. Using children to fight your war. That's when you know you've really lost. And if that's not bad enough, then we have the communists in the United States protesting. These are usually paid groups by groups from people in China because we have freedom of speech. They have these retards going over and promoting communism. They haven't learned from the past 100 or so years that communism fails. Every state that implements it is poor. Russia on. They're all poor. Cuba, Venezuela, all their people suffer in poverty. Wake up. You never see any protesters with American flags in China or Russia. Of course not, because they get shot. So it's kind of pathetic. And when you see these hungry hippos, like this woman, I mean, the obesity in the United States, what the frick are they feeding these people? They're all fat and angry. It's disgusting, and I don't know what to say. It's like very unhealthy. Why don't you put your energy into exercising and taking care of yourselves? My God. In Russia, you wouldn't even be able to use your phones. They have blackouts for your mobile internet and for the internet in general. In Iran, the same thing. So all of these dictatorships and communist regimes, they all do the same thing. They restrict your freedom and make the quality of your life crap, in short. And if that's not bad enough, look at this. This is like really sad.
Ты все равно жив, и в сердце ты моем навсегда. Ты все равно жив, но так распорядилась судьба. Ты все равно жив, и ангелы с тобою легко летят высоко, летят высоко. Ты жив, и в сердце ты моем навсегда. Ты все равно жив, но так распорядилась судьба.
Isn't that hauntingly beautiful? At the same time, it's so sad. Again, like the using the 12-year-old boys to fight in the war. These are AI videos of family members that have died in Ukraine from Russia. Family groups get together and they make these videos to remember their loved ones. Now that is truly an unnecessary war where they're trying to steal the land from Ukraine and take over their people. And they're losing thousands of troops every week. Thousands. We lose 6 and we freak out in the United States. Now, as the war goes on, we have this map here. We're moving ground forces into position in Iran. How they're going to be used is a big unknown, but there's many different ways they can use them. So we will see, but it's going to be, again, escalating the war, and we're on week 4. We're now going into actually week 5. So how we're going to deal with Iran, and we're going to probably have minesweepers from Europe. That's the word I was looking for, minesweepers. Um, but to open the Strait of Hormuz, because the Iranians, of course, are causing us problems there. But this is what you'll see that I'm focused on as far as hedging and reducing exposure. The main contributor of this is what we have going on in the world right now. Anyway, let's go over and take a look at the charts. As you see right here, this is the pattern I was looking for on Bitcoin, and sure enough, we went up to the 76K range, and we pulled back. So that's the last number 3 on the third point on the symmetry, and now we've broken down, and we're all the way in the 60K range. And I pointed this out in charts early on, so you had plenty of time to react, and you know I'm looking for the 61.8 around 58K. And you know, this was what was there, and you get the flag pattern for continuation downward, and to complete off the 5 waves to hit that 61.8% level down here. And you know, this is what I was looking for, and sure enough, that's what we pretty much had. You know, again, you know, here's silver. And these are charts I'm just basically going over what from early in the week when I saw this ahead of time. You know what I was looking for from the 74 range, the mid 70s, that's resistance. You developed this butterfly pattern that went all the way back down to 67K and under. I posted in the room when it went down there, from there to there. So far the trading ranges have been great, and yeah, I'm cleaning up as far as the short-term trades go. I had the trades from the low range here all the way up to the 74. Yeah, it's been really great for short-term trading. And as you'll see in the video, that there's a reason for that. Anyway, let's go to the video and enjoy. Alrighty, good morning. Here we are with Bitcoin. And as you see, we have broken down, as I was expecting us to do. And if you focus on this chart here, I drew the symmetry of this flag-like pattern and what I was looking for. And sure enough, we finally broke down from 72 around this. You could kind of mark that, but in reality, if we draw these lines, it doesn't really matter. If it's more like this, if you just place it down to here, just for the symmetry, I did that. Structure is not always perfect, so you're not going to always get perfect structures, but you want to focus on key points, such as this right here, 1, 2, and 3. Those are your key points. That's how I, was able to figure out with a retracement around maybe around half or so of Bitcoin that this would become resistance again. If you've seen that on the chart that I posted earlier last week, you can see what I was looking at. And this kind of explains it. Let's go to a 45-minute. You can see what I was looking at as resistance points all through here. I've got other charts as well that show the same thing. Like this one right here. And this is where I added shorts. And the reason why is I was expecting this to happen. And it makes sense that I lean into. Now this is the other thing that I was telling you about algos that I'm using. I'm basically using math to prevent me from making strategic mistakes. Like I was too much into Bitcoin on the long side in the past, so I corrected it using math. And the math kept telling me, trade other instruments, focus more on the shorter, use more money to trade the shorter term, and reduce your exposure on the longer term trades. So that's what I've been doing, because even if I might have gotten too enthralled on the strategic long-term direction of Bitcoin, that wasn't making me money in the short term. So what was making me money was the shorter term trades. So when I do hedges and stuff like this and I'm constantly trading, I'm making a good amount of money. I've mitigated all of the declines that we had on Bitcoin and Ethereum and through trading, essentially. Through trading things like Zcash. I increased my position sizes and I was able to offset any of the longer term trades that I have. That doesn't mean they won't come into effect. They will at some point. I'm not worried about them, but I want to take advantage of the market structures that are current. And when I take trades like this down here up to there, or trades like here to there, and you make 30, 40, maybe 50% returns on a short-term trade, and then you keep doing that over and over, which I've done, then you increase your returns. And you're not just sitting there with twiddling your thumbs. So the algos have been telling me to trade more and to diversify off your instruments and to basically expand. So when I took out money, which definitely paid off, and I offset the trades on Bitcoin that I had on the long side, and then I slowly reduced my exposure on Bitcoin over time to currently where I am right now, where I am using this money that I don't need to anymore. But it's been very lucrative. Some of the trades I've had that you've seen, I don't have to tell you, they did very well. So that's what I've been basically doing. I've been trading against myself in a way using math. Is the basic way that I can put it. And that's why you've probably seen me show a lot more trades on the short-term side of different technical trades. Like this is a perfect example of where I traded this from the 180s to the 200, the low 200 range, all the way back to the 330s. That was a fantastic trade. Or let's say the one that was from around the 300 mark over here all the way back up to the 400 range. Another example of a great trade. Outside of the short trades, again, I don't make a lot of money on the short hedges if I'm not in a position that I was already long on. So that is not where I really make a lot of money. As you know, I've told you that before in the past. But on the long trades, I make a lot of money. And that's where my bread and butter is. And if I can have shorter term trades where I'm in and out, that's very beneficial to my bottom line while I'm waiting for a bigger move. And it's offset. But I use the math and the algos, and they've been telling me that for over like 7 months now, that spend more time doing that. And so that's what I've been doing, and that's why you see a lot more of the short-term trades. Silver is a perfect example. I've been extremely active, both on the sell side and the buy side, as you know, on silver. Now, my last buy area down here, and then the sell area up here, and I've repeated this over and over again. I had sells that I went over, and I went into here, where I hedged half of my silver, and then added to it, and then bought as we went down here, then sold it again up here. I'm mostly long though, so if I get any more moves to the downside, I would be surprised because I've got the structure here. But the point is that I'm diversified. Like I'm mostly long on silver, and this is a hedge against Bitcoin. So all these trades that I've had have worked out very well on the extreme moves and the volatility. So I put more money into the trading side, I guess you can say. So that's been very beneficial, and that's mitigated my losses. Now, one of the things I'm going to try to do, and I have to talk to my partner, is I want to go over and show all these trades. They friggin' are fantastic. And if we can use some type of copy trading service so that it's very transparent, you can see my activity and how I trade, and the odd hours. I think that would be very cool if you could see that I could be up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock or whatever it is, and I'll have trades. And, there's no fixed time because I trade based off of the market and many different factors in reality. But there are so many different trades, and I would like people to have the ability to see that. It doesn't matter if it's crypto or silver or stocks. I have lots of trades is the only way I could put it. But anyway, so I'll explore that. And because if you can't see my trades, and I don't think there's really, well, I guess my charts are okay too, but that's a focus of mine. But anyway, so you see where we are on silver, and we are more positive on silver, and we're kind of like stuck right now, but we've gone down to this range right here. And this range right here is your current support, and then we went right back up to the mid $70 range, which I explained to you guys we would likely do after dropping down here. We would go right back up to here. These lines that were once support now turn into resistance, kind of. Short term is what we're looking at. But this geometry is still in place. So when we look at silver, we're looking at the bigger picture. And we're looking at numbers from here and under in the mid 60s to get all the way back up to around that $90 range up here. That's what makes sense. That's the structure that you have there. So we're on the long side looking for this move. And we'll see what we get. Silver's been acting very positive, even with all the stuff with Iran and the geopolitical, whereas Bitcoin has not. And again, Bitcoin has the structure to go over and break down that we're looking for right here that I pointed out. And back to that 58K. Now we have the trend line break. So if you see a breakdown in Bitcoin, do not be surprised. I've explained this over and over. I have diversified away, sold Bitcoin, sold some of it, took short hedges on it, made money available to trade bigger sizes on other instruments like silver and Zcash and the like, as well as taking out loans, of which I'll collapse because the returns on those loans have been fantastic. You've seen the trades that I've had. I don't have to tell you. So it's worked out to my benefit. So this is the structure we're currently looking at on Bitcoin. This is what I'm looking for us to go down to. And I'm just waiting. That's basically it on Bitcoin. And the Dow has traded all the way back to this blue line right here, which is its visual support. 1, 2, 3, you can see it right in here, all through here. So this whole area is its visual support. Its next level down would be all the way to the 43K. So if we get some real panic next week because Trump's war is taking longer than expected, and people don't like that. They do not like it. We're in week number 4. We're going into the 5th week, which is the timeline he gave. So that's not looking so good for him. And all they're doing is being terrorists in nature, like they do. Coming out and shooting a few missiles, and that's all they have to do. And trying to elongate, and wear us out. Which now Trump is moving troops into the Middle East, ground troops, which I think are going to be used mostly for tactical raids and to just chip away at the Iranian regime and hit them in spots that they're not going to be expecting. It'll be interesting to see. We'll see what goes. But the next thing is he's threatened to take out their power plants. And if he shuts off their electricity and power and closes off their export of oil, that's going to cause a great deal of upset. Or the flip side is the Arab countries could start to say we're going to become offensive in nature and to start to pick up the slack. As well as Europe is going to at some point not like the high gas prices, so they're going to want to start escorting ships as well as have the mine destroyers, I call them, available to which they have a large amount of, which is something that we don't have as much because we're mostly offense, but they're mostly defense, so they have a large amount of mine. What are they called? Mine destroyers. Whatever. I'll think of the word later when my brain's working. But when you have this type of geopolitical stuff going on, and you're just like, wow, you have a lot of volatility, and as you can see, we were at all-time highs, and now we're all the way back down to the support point all the way here. That's 15,000 points on the Dow. That's a pretty large amount. And if we scale out of this chart and go to a higher time frame, we can see the length of that we have. You don't want to see movement under this zone right here. This is where you want to basically find support. Hopefully we'll find it here, but with the way this is going geopolitically, it's not looking so great. You could get panic and we get shoved all the way down to the 43K. Once you go outside of this zone, then you're looking at numbers that extend all the way back down to the 30,000 range down here, the mid-30s even. So that's an unfortunate possibility. So that's what we're looking at. One of the main reasons I've hedged and I've reduced my exposure, basically, is because of this, at least short term. So that is what we're looking at. And, silver, kind of a good hedge. It's kind of a strange market. Silver was so overbought that it's kind of hard to say, but this is a beautiful geometry and pattern. And so I'm looking for us to elevate upwards. And even with the contraction of last week, silver still kind of reacted pretty positively. When it dropped down to these short-term numbers, its price action was very positive. So this move from up here, even though we went back to the target space right here for another trade that I made, and you can see the W, I pointed that out in the room ahead of time. This is what I was looking for. We found support right down there, and we bounced up and are now sitting around the 70,000 range. But it's very positive. It's got positive price action. Is there a possibility that we can break this range and get panic, go all the way down to this target here? Yeah, it's possible, but it's not likely. Statistically, the highest statistics are for something us to go here all the way back up to here. Those are the highest stats right there. But I don't determine, I can't predict the future, so we'll see what happens. So far, this zone has held, and I would remain positive. Other than that, that's all there is to it. I've hedged correctly. I've gone to more short-term trades. I diversified out of the longer-term trades and made equity available to trade, basically, more on the short-term side. And we've got nice trades available to us, silver being the best. You have Zcash down here, extreme range, but it's contracted. It's no longer as pretty to trade as it did. It went through all its machinations of the different levels that I was expecting, and yeah, they worked out. Right now, we're just ping-ponging around. We did go back up to the 280 range up here, 280 almost up to the 290, and then all the way back down to the low 200 range. So, you know, I could have had trades on that, but I've pulled back on that and focused more on silver as of late. Other than that, last one I'll look at is Metaplanet. Metaplanet is now in the 180 range. I hope we can go down to the 160s to the even maybe 148. If we can get down there, that would be fantastic. Again, I'm just buying for the long term, and I want to add more to this. This is more of a longer term trade, so I'm not in a rush. Let's just put it that way. But to me, this is a free ride, and you know what I'm looking for in the future. We've got gaps that go up to 371. We've got gaps that go all the way up to the $7 to $8 range, all the way up to the almost 9, all the way up to the 10, all the way up to the $12 range. So at some point in the future, nobody's going to expect it. This is kind of like XRP when it was in the 30-cent range and then ran all the way up to $2 and above. Nobody was expecting it, so I don't expect things to be any different when they don't expect it. And in the future, this goes all the way to the $12 range. So there you go. Anyway, so we have an interesting week focused on silver. We'll see how that does. This is more positive. This range down here that's traded all the way to retested this spike that we had down here like I was looking for, and I would not be surprised if we get a bigger move to the upside. First area is that 78 area over here that I would look for. Anyway, we'll see what happens, and I will see you guys in the next video.
The school teaching the children how to be a homosexual and make sure they all teach about the transgender. So that is what important to me.